Yo everybody, what's going on? This is Keegan from Kman Reviews. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to hit that like and the subscribe button, and if you have any opinions at all you would like to share, leave them down in the comment section. Perfect Plan. Time for a Miracle. Perfect Plan are a Swedish melodic album-oriented rock band formed in 2014. This is another one of those bands that's trying to bring back the 80s rock back to the mainstream that really seems to be filling up the Scandinavian scene as of late. And thanks to a viewer suggestion, I get to check out this band and their sophomore album, Time for a Miracle. As I mentioned earlier, I read that this band was described as album-oriented rock, which really made me think of more progressive stuff, maybe a concept album, or it's just really fluid in its transitions. So were my theories correct? Let's find out as I review this album, track by track. Since this is meant to be album-oriented, we will just start at the top of the track list with the opener and title track, Time for a Miracle, which opens to the sound of a military march, plus a marching band drum. After a grand opening consisting of bells and synth keys, the instrumental kicks in a minute into the track, and what an instrumental it is. The drums are powerful, asserting their dominance early on, the guitar riff is beautiful, it has a nice nostalgic element to it, and vocalist Kent Hilly is a remarkable singer. He really expresses that on this track as he sings about the story of a dying soldier in the heat of the battle, hoping for a miracle. Gorgeous opener, sets a good mood for the album. Better Walk Alone doesn't waste time with theatric openers, brings us right into the track, and I gotta say, Kent sounds nearly identical to Adam Lambert on this track, in particular if he decided to go rock or metal. This instrumental is really solid too. While the drums may not have as much power as the opener, the changing staccato guitar riff plus a wonderful bass line to back everything up. Nice guitar solo as well, and lyrics about this failed relationship and how she was just being fake the whole time, and you've got another fantastic song. Heart to Stone gives us a little bit of a faster, upbeat tempo rock tune, and yet again it's pretty great. What amazes me so far on this album is Kent's voice. He's like this perpetually shifting vocalist, as he has not sounded the same on either of the three tracks so far. And I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. The riff here just really reminds me of some Judas Priest, and the drumming has a solid rhythm to it. Lyrically, it's about finding the truth behind this relationship, how she's turning his heart to stone. This is also a really good track. Fighting to Win is the motivational ballad of this album, and god, this is an absolutely fantastic song. Even at the 5-minute runtime that it is, it just portrays so much emotion, and that showed in the opening moments with the keyboard playing from Leif Aylin, and Kent's vocals soaring with passion and honesty. After the first chorus, the drums and guitars kick in, and it's just such a wholesome, positive moment on this record. How could you not love this as Kent sings about no matter what happens, get back on your feet and fight the good fight. Beautiful song, highly recommend checking this one out. Every Time We Cry opens up like another ballad, but then everything comes through, and it's good. It's just not a great instrumental. The drums are being a little bit overshadowed by everything else, and the guitar riff is pretty standard. Even Kent's vocals, they're good, but they don't really soar or satisfy as much as the previous tracks did on this album. The rhythm and melody are pretty generic as well, and lyrically it's about being on the verge of a failing relationship, hoping for one last reason to give it a fair shot. It's okay. What About Love brings that power back from the slight detour we had, especially in the drums that have a solid pulsing thump to them. This track really also helps to bring light to keyboardist Leif, and how much he can shine outside of ballads. Speaking of bringing it back, Kent's vocals are golden yet again. He's got such a phenomenal vocal range and presence, and it's so wonderful to hear that outside of the infamous 80s singers. Lyrically, it's just about wanting to tell this girl how much he cares, but is just bottling it in. Another good song. Nobody's Fool opens with this guitar playing under this bluesy, old-fashioned effect, where it sounds like it's being played over a vintage, staticky radio. Then it proceeds to come in like a bat out of hell with gorgeous instrumentation, the bass line, the rougher, grittier guitar riff, and these fantastic synth keys. The chorus drops in tempo for a bit, providing some nice change-ups when it comes around. Lyrically, it's about him being very independent, dominant, just nobody's fool, not even his woman can change him. Add in a kick-ass guitar solo, and this is another fantastic track. Livin' on the Run is much more of a minimalistic track. It opens with an old-school guitar riff reminiscent of some Poison, but then as soon as the first verse kicks in, the guitar gets replaced for a light synth melody and some drum work. The chorus amps things up just a little bit, bringing the guitar back slightly, but it weirdly feels incomplete without that guitar. Of course, Kent's vocals are fantastic as always, but this is also one of the longer tracks on the record at 5 minutes and 34 seconds. And with the structure it has, it kind of feels like a bit of a drag as he sings about just being together with this girl, and it being a whole them against the world scenario, living on the run. Nah, this one's also okay. Just One Wish has this heavy power ballad feel to it, with the instrumental being a bit more down-tempo, and with everything being pushed to the forefront. All the synths, the drums, that guitar too, it just feels so dense and complete. Not to mention Kent's vocals, which are absolutely gorgeous. They match the emotion of the instrumental to a T. It just feels so powerful as he sings about this failed relationship and how he just wants that one wish to bring it all back. Factor in a wonderful guitar solo as well, and you've got one of the best tracks on the record. Great song. Don't Blame It on Love Again is a bit of a generic track sonically, but god, even this band's generic material is still fantastic. Everything here is just kind of a lesser version of something that already happened previously on the record. The guitar playing is nice and tough, par for the course, and Kent's vocals do soar, but only for one true note on the chorus. The solo here is pretty good, and lyrically it's about bracing for disaster in this relationship, and asking them not to blame it on love again. Not a bad song, I enjoy it. Give a Little Lovin' opens up with these harmonies that sound nearly identical to some Queen song, which is immediately followed up by this stellar guitar playing and these impactful drums that give the track a decent punch to it. Kent's vocals as well are nice and strong, matching the instrumental very well, and the guitar solo probably could have had a little bit more of an edge, I think. It was clean, but maybe just a little bit too clean. Lyrically, I mean, the title does kind of speak for itself, just asking for a little lovin'. Great song. And finally, the closer, Don't Leave Me Here Alone, unsurprisingly is another soaring, grand power ballad to close off the album, and this is another good one. There are some gentle acoustics on the verses that transform into a traditional Def Leppard or Aerosmith-style ballad, and Kent's vocals are gorgeous again. It is fairly long at 5 minutes and 17 seconds, but regardless, I think it's still wonderful as Kent sings about how this relationship is crumbling, but he's praying and asking her not to leave him alone. Great closer, great song. Overall, wow, consider me impressed because I really enjoyed this album a lot. Very fun, nostalgic instrumentation, not to mention Kent being a contender for one of the best male vocals, probably period. My god. Scandinavian rock like this really has it down pat. Worth checking out if you love the 80s and are looking for something fresh at the same time. I'm feeling a 9 out of 10 on this album. Well guys, hope you enjoyed that review. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.